President Biden branding Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal when asked. The Kremlin responding, calling his comments unacceptable and unforgivable. Biden's remarks came after Ukrainian President Zelensky's historic speech to our Congress. Joining me now, Georgia Congressman, House Energy and Commerce Committee member Earl Buddy Carter. Congressman, you attended the Zelensky address yesterday. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, there are many people who are referring to President Zelensky as the Winston Churchill of our generation. I thought he hit all the points yesterday. I mean, his analogy of Pearl Harbor and 9/11, the video that he showed, all of that was spot on. And I'm going to tell you, it had an impact. It had an impact on the members of Congress. When we left that meeting, I could tell there was a difference in a lot of people, and they want to help. Now, even more so than they wanted to before. I think they realize and recognize now the urgency of this. As time goes on, lives are lost, and we cannot afford to lose any more lives over there. We support the Ukrainian people.
How? What kind of help?
Well, first of all, we need to get those MiG-29s over there. Whatever it takes, just get them over there right now. We don't need to provide for a no-fly zone. They can provide it themselves, but we need to make sure that they have the equipment that they have to have in order to do that. Get those MiG-29s to their pilots and let them impose a no-fly zone.
But wouldn't it be better to get, if those planes are headed to the Soviet-era MiGs, not directly from the United States, but if they are headed into Ukraine, to do it quietly? And find out, because again, this was played out on the world stage for everybody to see, this back and forth among the Biden administration. So do it quietly, and we should, as a world, find out if Ukraine has them when some Russians are killed with those jets. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Look, do whatever you got to do. Go over there and let the pilots come over here and are over to Europe and fly them back over to Ukraine. It can be done, and it can be done quietly, as you suggest. Keep in mind, Ronald Reagan, he did this during his presidency. Donald Trump, he did this during his presidency. It can be done, and that's what Joe Biden should be doing, is making sure that they get them. And yes, make sure that they get them quietly. That would be even better.
And you remove power and prosperity from Vladimir Putin by increasing our energy, increasing our oil and natural gas production here in the United States. We did the reverse starting a year ago under the Biden administration. And so they essentially went on the attack with our energy economy, Congressman. And in President Biden's State of the Union address, he said that he would buy American. So you say that we should start. You recently introduced a bill to restart construction on the Keystone XL pipeline. Tell me more about it, but does that have legs in Congress?
Well, I think it does. I mean, let's face it, since day one, Joe Biden has declared war on fossil fuels here in the United States. He's declared war on energy independence. We recognize now, if we recognize anything out of Ukraine, just how important energy independence is to our national security. We have to have energy independence. We had it. When Joe Biden took office, he threw it away. Now we need it again. That's why I've introduced legislation ending dependence on Russian energy. It would restart the Keystone XL pipeline. We need to do that. We need to start drilling on federal lands. We need to stop this assault on permitting and licensing for drilling, and we need to convert LNG facilities from import facilities here in America to export facilities. We have an abundance of natural gas here, cleaner natural gas here than it is in Russia, and we should be providing that to Europe and to our other allies throughout the world. We can have, and we did have, energy independence, and the Biden administration ruined it and threw it away.
But just to be clear, though, we have the refiners here stopped buying Russian crude oil and refined product even before the Biden administration stepped up to ban it. So it is banned right now. And before that, it was only a sliver of our energy imports. It was about 8% of our oil and refined product imports. So for us, it was fairly easy to cut it off, but it's the rest of the West that is still buying it. Well, China buying oil, but natural gas is still flowing into Europe.
Yes, natural gas is still flowing into Europe from Russia. And that makes no sense at all. I was in Europe 3 weeks ago at the Munich Security Council, and that was the one thing we made clear. And later on, I went down to Brussels, and we made clear that that needed to stop. And Europe needs to understand that they are only putting money into the coffers of the Russian government when they're doing that. Let's face it, Russia is nothing more than a gas station masquerading as a country. When you hit them with their oil and gas, that's when you hurt them. I applaud the president for what he did in ending our imports of Russian oil. It took him too long. He should have done it before then, way before then, but it's never too late to do the right thing, and he did the right thing by doing that.
Before we go, Congressman, I'll just point out, I believe that the Department of Energy approved it was 2 LNG terminals yesterday. So that's a move in the right direction. So that's how we get Europe off of Russian natural gas. Thank you, Congressman.